Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Amar Kumar Ram. This video is on the solution of the first challenge that we posted 48 hours before. I hope you have worked on that and completed the challenge. For those who haven't and for those who want to see another approach to solve the challenge, this video is for them. So let's start with the coding. We already aware of the challenge that we need to create a custom circle count and the division count, and each cell division should have different color or different shades of color. So let's start writing HTML code. I'll provide this CodePen link in the description of this video so that you can easily analyze the solution. Now let's start the code. We'll create a div with class main container, inside which we'll have one more div with class input fields. So we first need to create the input fields where we'll provide the number of count for circle and division. Both the input field will be there in individual divs. So let's create two div here. Each div will have a class of dflex, d-flex. The second div will have extra class that is division count container. Now inside the first div, we'll create a label with class mb-16. MB stands for margin bottom and the label is circle count. It will also have an input field with placeholder as enter number of circles, class as circle count, name as circle count, type as number because we are going to type only numbers, and we can see the output at the right hand side. The minimum value that is possible in this input field is 0 because number of circles can't be negative. ID will be circle count and we will provide a default value as 1. Now we'll copy paste the same thing inside the division container and we'll change some of its class. First of all, we'll change the label of this input field from circle to division, and the placeholder will be enter number of divisions. The class will be division count and the same will goes for name and ID. Now we are done with the input field container. Now let's create a canvas inside which we'll create our circle. But if your browser does not support canvas, for that we can write here your browser does not support the HTML canvas tag. Since we are not getting this message here, it means my browser supports canvas tag. We'll give it a ID to this tag, width as 500, height as 500, and we'll give inline style such as border with value 1px solid hash d3 d3 d3. Now at the right hand side we can see both the inputs are visible and canvas area is also visible. So now let's proceed with our CSS code. First of all, for all the elements we'll keep margin as 0, padding as 0, and box sizing as border box. Now we'll copy the class main container and we'll write display as flex direction will be column, justify content center, align items center. So now everything is at center as we can see at the right hand side. Now we'll copy the input fields class and write display as flex and margin top bottom as 2.5 rem and left and right as 0. Now we'll copy the class of input fields that is circle count as well as division count, and we'll write common CSS for both the input fields such as padding 0.5 rem, border hyphen radius as 0.5 rem, and font size as 1 rem. Now we need some gap between this label and the circle count input field. For that we will use this class division count container and we'll give a margin left as 2.5 rem. Now we'll copy this common class that is d-flex and write display flex and flex direction as column. Also we'll copy this common class that is mb-16 and give margin bottom as 1 rem that is 16 pixel. Now we are done with CSS. So let's collapse this panel. Now we'll start our JavaScript code to create the circle based on the given input values for circle count and division count. I have a set of colors. You can have your own, which will be used as a cell color. Now each circle that we will create inside this canvas should have a radius. So we'll create a constant, say default radius equals to 20. Then we will get the canvas element in JavaScript by using this ID circle canvas. So let's create a constant, say canvas equals to document dot get element by ID with the ID of the canvas tag that is circle canvas. Now we need to define the center of the circle, and in our case it will be good to have at the center of this box or container. So let's calculate the x coordinate and the y coordinate. The x coordinate will be the half of the canvas width and the y coordinate will be the half of the canvas height. So let's create those coordinates. Say x coordinate equals to canvas width by 2. This is a null check in case the circle canvas is not present in the DOM. Similarly, let's create a constant, say y coordinate, which will be canvas dot height by 2. So now we have all the required values to create the circle, that is cell color, default radius, x coordinate and y coordinate, that is the center coordinates of the circle. Now let's create a function, say create circle. This function we need to call on the key up of these input fields. So let's go to the HTML and write in both the input fields as on key up and we'll call create circle. Now we'll copy the same and paste in the input field of division. So now whenever we change the value of the circle count input field or division count input field, it will call this create circle. So let's now write the logic of the create circle function. Here we will get the values of both the input field, say circle count, which will be document dot get element by id circle count. As we have given the id to both the input fields, for the circle count we have given circle count and for division count we have given division count. We will create another constant, say division count, which will be document dot get element by id division count. Once we get the values from both the input fields, we'll call a function draw circle. Now let's define this function const draw circle. This draw circle will have two parameters, that is the value of the circle count and the value of the division count. So circle count and division count. Both the values we need to pass from here. So let's pass that circle count and division count. But on the page load also we need to execute these two methods. So on the page load we'll call this create circle. So on the page load this create circle will be called. Inside this create circle we'll get the values from both the input fields and we'll pass those counts in the function draw circle. Now this draw circle function will be responsible to create the circle with divisions. So now let's write the logic of draw circle function. Since we are going to create the circle inside the canvas and the canvas object we are storing in the canvas variable, so first of all we need to check whether canvas context is available or not. For that we'll have a if block with condition canvas dot get context. If the get context is available, then we'll create a constant, say context ctx equals to canvas dot get context and we'll get the 2D context and store in the ctx constant. Now before drawing the circle we need to clear this canvas, because as soon as we change the count then the canvas will draw a new circle. So before drawing the new circle this canvas should be cleared. For that we'll take this context and call clear rect function, which will clear the complete context. This clear rect accepts four parameters, that is start index, which is x and y. So we'll start from the 0 comma 0 of this canvas. So we'll give 0 comma 0 and the third parameter is the width in pixel till which it will clear the context. So we will give the entire width of this canvas, which is canvas dot width, and the fourth parameter is the height till which it clears the context, and in our case we need to provide the complete height of the canvas. So we'll give canvas dot height. Now we are ready to draw the circle inside the canvas. To create the circle we'll use for loop and we'll write let I equals to the circle count that we are passing to this draw circle function, and we'll go till I is greater than equals to 1 I minus minus. Now we'll take this context ctx and begin the path. We'll fill this context by assigning value to the fill style property, and this property will have value from colors array that we have defined at the top, and each time the color will be different. So we'll take the dependency on I variable and we'll have a modulus operator with colors dot length. So here basically we are deciding which color index should we pick for this particular loop, and based on the index we are picking the color from the colors array that we are assigning in the fill style property. Now we'll create the arc. For that we'll take this context and call the method arc. This arc method accepts 6 parameters. The first parameter is the x coordinate, which we have defined at the top. and that is the x coordinate for the center, then the y coordinate of the center, then the default radius. Now we cannot have the same radius for each circle, because say I want to draw 5 circles, then all the 5 circles will have the radius as 20, and hence all the 5 circles will overlap with each other. So we need to modify this radius with the help of this variable I. So what we will do, we'll just multiply this default radius with I. So say we have 5 circles, so for the very first circle the radius will be 20 into 5, that is 100. For the second circle the radius will be 20 into 4, that is 80, and it will decrease so on. Fourth parameter is the start angle from where the circle should be drawn. So we'll start from the 0th angle, and fifth parameter is the end angle. So we will draw 360-degree total. So we'll use math.pi and we'll multiply this with 2, because math.pi is nothing but 180. Now the last thing that is required is whether we want to draw the circle in an clockwise or anti-clockwise. So we'll say it clockwise. By default it is anti-clockwise, so we'll make it false, so it will create the circle in the clockwise. Now as we assigned the color to the fill style property, to make it work we need to call the fill method of the context. So we'll call fill method. We need to call the stroke method. Now we can see that the circle is not drawn. This is because we have used null check operator at the left hand side of the assignment operator. So let's remove it. Till the circle is not visible inside the canvas. This is because we expect the value of circle count and division count in the draw circle method, but we are passing the element object of circle count and division count. So we need to write circle count dot value and division count dot value. Now we can see that the circle has been drawn. Similarly, if we write 5 here, we can see 5 circles are drawn. If we write 10, we have 10 circles. So we are able to draw the circle based on the input fields. Now we need to work on the division. Since we have a default value as 1, so we have complete one division inside each circle. Now to create the division, we first need to have a division angle. For example, suppose we need a division count as 2, then we need to split this circle into 2 halves. So the first arc will be created from 0 to 0 till 180, and the second arc will be created from 180 to 360. This is how the circle should be splitted into sector or division. So we need that point till which the arc will be created, and that is the division angle. So if we have a division count 2, then the division angle is 180. If we have division count as 3, we'll have division angle as 120 degrees. So we need to divide the entire circle into the equal number of divisions. So 360 degree will be divided into equal number of divisions. For that, we'll create a constant after clearing the canvas, and we'll give it a name as division angle. Since this is an input field which is restricted to minimum as 0, but we cannot divide anything with 0, otherwise it will give infinity value. So first of all, we'll check whether the division count that we are getting inside the draw circle is greater than 0 or not. So if it is greater than 0, say 1, 2, 3 like that, then what we will do, we'll just have 2 into math.pi, which is nothing but 360 degree divided by the division count. So if we have 2 division count, then we will assign division angle as 360 degree by 2, that is 180. If we have division count as 1, then 360 degree by 1, which is 360 degree on. And we have anything that is 0 or negative number, then we will simply assign 360 degree on. So now we have division angle logic with us. If the division count is 0 or 1, we don't need to do anything, because in case of 0 also the division angle is 360 degree, that we need to create the circle as a full circle. And also if the division count is 1, then also we need to create a full circle. But what if the division count is greater than 1? Then we need to divide this circle into required number of sectors or divisions. So inside the for loop, we'll have a condition say if division count is greater than 1, it means we need to divide the circle into required number of sectors or divisions. But if division count is 1 or less than 1, then anyway we need to create the complete circle and no need to divide anything. So we'll just write the previous logic inside the else block. Now we'll minimize the HTML code so that we'll have more room for JavaScript code. So this is how it looks like now, and it will work like it was working before. So if we do not change the division count and we'll change the circle count only, it will behave as before. But now we need to work on the division count. So that logic will go inside this if condition. So inside this we'll have again a for loop. Say let j equals to 1, j is less than equals to division count and j plus plus. So if we have division count more than 1, then else block will not execute, and hence we need to begin the path here also. So we'll write context dot begin path. Similarly, we need to assign the color to the fill style property as we have done in the else block, and we need to create the arc in the context by calling the arc method. First of all, we need to give the x coordinate of the center, so we'll give x coordinate, the y coordinate of the center, so we'll give y coordinate, the default radius which will be dependent on the I as I have explained earlier, so we'll write default radius into I. Now the fourth angle is the start angle of the circle. So for the easy explanation, let's take that we are going to divide this circle into two divisions. So what will be the start angle? First of all, the division angle will be 2 into math pi slash division count, and division count is 2, so division angle will be 180 degree. So we'll take the 180 degree as the starting point. We'll say division angle and we'll multiply with j, so it is getting multiplied with 1 only. So the very first starting angle is 180 degree and it will go till 360 degree. So what we'll do, we'll just say division angle into j plus 1, which is nothing but 1 plus 1 is 2 and 2 into 180 degree is 360 degree. So one semicircle will be drawn using this arc method for the very first loop, and we will draw this circle in clockwise, so we'll pass the sixth parameter as first. Now in the second loop, the jth value will be 2. In that case, the start angle will become 180 into 2, that is 360 degree, that is nothing but 0th degree, and division angle, that is 180 degree into 2 plus 1, that is 3, which is 540 degree, that is nothing but 180 degree in other way, because 540 degree basically means if we start from 0th degree, then it will have a full circle of 360 degree plus 180 degree, and that becomes 540 degree. And by this we'll create two semicircle, so we need to create a line also. So how to create that line? So we'll use this context and we'll call line to method. Before understanding the line to method, let's again understand how this arc is working. So the very first time we are starting from the division angle into j, that is 1, because in the very first loop the jth value is 1. So in the very first loop, circle starts from 180 degree and goes till 360 degree, and then we will have a line till the center. That's it. Why? Because the next arc is starting from the 360 degree and going till 540 degree, that is nothing but 180 degree, and then again we'll come to the center. So in that way we'll have a single line in the middle of this circle. So every time when we complete the arc, we need to reach the line to the center of the circle. So for that we'll have line 2 as x coordinate and y coordinate. Now to make the fill style work, we need to write ctx and need to call fill method. Also we need to call the stroke method to have a stroke around the circle. Now say if we write division count as 2, we have 2 divisions. If we have 3, we have 3 divisions. If we have 4, 4 divisions. If we have 5, 5 divisions. Similarly, we can increase the count, say 7, so we'll have 7 divisions in each circle. Now if you observe, each division cell inside a single circle has the same color. To make it different, what we can do, we can just write a different logic in the fill style for division count greater than 1. So here we can write not I but I plus j, the combination of that. So now suppose we have 8 division inside the circle and we have 10 circle, then in each cell we have different color shades. We can even have more divisions, say 80. It looks awesome now. So now we have completed our challenge. Hopefully it was useful to you and you have learned something from here. If you have not understood anything, then please do let me know in the comment section. And now let's work on the next challenge, which will be posted in this series after some time. Till that, be happy, take care, signing off.